Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seats. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! How is everybody doing? It is the SFP, Southern Fried Podcast, and the Cornbread Nation Hump Day News Live. That's so nice to say. Come on live. And we're in midweek. We're working towards the weekend. You're over halfway if you got the end of a work day, which we have. And you're headed towards the weekend. Of course, I know some people work the weekend. I've done a lot of that over my career in many different jobs. But it's something about the weekend, it's just a lot of people are off and things are a little bit, not as busy, and you kind of slow down a little bit and, family time, church time, that's family and church, together, hopefully, and just have a good time and, get your batteries recharged or however you do that. A lot of people take long weekends. They'll take a Friday off or a Monday and maybe both and make that a 4-day weekend. Those are nice. And, we've got Labor Day, I guess, is the next one. And some people will take Friday off. That way they get a 4-day break and you recharge the batteries and kind of get ready to come back to the, I'd say daily grind. I mean, if you enjoy what you do, it's not really work, but everybody needs time away. You spend a lot of energy. You use a lot of brain cells, and sometimes we don't have as many as we used to have, like me. And you just enjoy life, and so it's great. We like to talk about that when you get, hey, Michael, see you there, brother. It's nice when you get to the weekend and kind of have those kind of things, and when you come back on Monday or whatever day you come back, then, people ask you, hey, did you have a good weekend? What'd you do? And you get a lot of different answers. Sometimes people travel. Sometimes people stayed at home. They had projects to do. There was a guy just told me the other day he had spent his off days building a new, I think he said, a deck, and you could tell he was tired. So sometimes you come back to work actually to get rest. The honeydews and the projects and all that stuff. But anyway, we're glad you're here on a Wednesday, and it's good to be here. Rob will join us. Rob is traveling right now. He had to go do some things, and I think he's going to try to join in just a little bit. Sorry if you heard my dog or my granddaughter's dog. It's all of our dogs. She alerts us when somebody's coming, so she's a good watchdog. And so, but you might hear that occasionally. And we'll get Robert on here. Hopefully he'll get back in. If not, I'm going to show some pictures and we'll talk a little bit about some retro things here in a little bit. We're going to show some pictures of some things. And those of you that are my age, even a little younger, they're going to be, you're going to know what they are. But the question will be is how many young people do you think that know what they are? And it's the same way our those that come before us did with us. There are things I used to know some people, or I still know them, but they do a lot of metal detecting, and looking for artifacts, as they say. And of course, a lot of the friends I have, they're looking for war between the states because there was so much munitions and uniforms, but of course uniforms are gone, but buttons and buckles and dropped lead and horseshoes. And I've actually found some of that stuff, not the buckle. That's hard. It's getting harder to find anything. And over the course of all these years, a lot of it's, just gone. But those that were active during the heyday of that, they, I didn't know you was older than me, Michael. So, yeah, you will know. They're not hard, but I want to talk about each one just a little bit in relation to our time. But anyway, these people are doing, the artifact, research, and they're going out to, dig. And I've done some of that. It is exciting. It's just hard to find the spots. People don't want to let you look, but you really gotta do some research and stuff. And so people, are looking for those things that just, give you that, real exciting moment. And sometimes They find things they don't know what they are. I've seen that. And they do some research and research and research. And it could be a localized thing. A lot of your tokens for trolley, even rail, sometimes they used a metal, well, like, money, but it was a token. And if it didn't have a name stamped on it, it's a token, you don't know from where. So you start asking questions, you do some research or digging, no pun intended. You've been doing some digging, but you're looking for what that is. And so you start asking the oldest people that's in that area. Hey, is this from around here? I have one, and I bought it at an antique shop because, I in ministry and I have a love for Jewish people in Israel and stuff. And I was in an antique shop, but I've never been big on that. I just, I know some people are. I would just like to find it. But somebody told me, you need to go look at this. It's a ring and it's a Star of David and it was a dig. Oh, that got my interest up, okay, well. And I went over to this place. This guy, he used to go to this antique mall or shop because we got bunches of them around here. And he said, he don't want much for it. He said, I really don't know if he knows how to value it, or he just doesn't know the backstory. But he dug it himself, he told me. Outside of Atlanta, Marietta, which is a pretty good size and was even a long time ago in Atlanta area, and even more so today. So I went over there, and I think the guy only wanted like $6 for it, and you could tell that had been crafted. I mean, it wasn't something that was made on some kind of a bit. I know they didn't really maybe have assembly lines, but it wasn't something that looked like a business made it. It was somebody had took the time to make that. And I don't know if they dropped it or could have been during war. Never know. Maybe they were buried and that was all that was left. So I have this really old ring, and I just like the mystique about it, And people have asked me about it when I've wore it. I've got it put up right now, but people have asked me about it. And I said, "What's the story on the ring?" And I like conversation starters. I like it when people give me, they say, "Hey, tell me about this," and it helps you to reach out to people and communicate with people, and you just never know where you're going to go with that. So I enjoy talking to people about their hobbies, things they collect. It may not be something I'm interested in, but if they're interested, I'm interested in it because of them. Old trains. There's a lot of people I know do that or have done it. And getting those trains, and they'll have them set up. And there's been some pretty good size, train, museums and stuff. Of course, around here with, the trains that came through, Chattanooga Choo Choo, all that. There's a lot of interest in trains. So I like that stuff. I've only ever had a little bit of that, and I haven't been into it. You got bad thing about hobbies. They get expensive. It's there's a lot of costs that you don't think about. So a lot of times, like when you get into reenacting, like say you could do all the way back to Revolutionary War. There's groups that do that. World War I, World War II, war between the states, probably on up. But they want to be authentic, and so a person of normal means cannot get in there and afford, to start out like that unless they really have a lot of money. And so what people do is they'll help them out. They'll be, they'll loan them something that, or sell them something that they don't wear anymore, or they was about ready to get rid of. And I had to do that. And, if it wasn't for them, it would have been really hard to get started. Now, when I started into reenacting, I think, I bought like a shell jacket. I had, I think, just given to me some civilian top pants, which looked really good in the time frame. The poor, farmer going off to war. A lot of times they had supply problems. I think I bought my hat for like $20, really cheap. I mean, it's all cheap. And then, but I did buy my weapon and all the accoutrements with that. And I had probably, even just doing all that, really being frugal, and this is years ago. I mean, a long time ago. I probably had close to $1,000 just getting started. And that was just to look the part enough that the unit you were with went, okay, we can start there, because they want to portray accuracy, and I don't blame them. That's one of the things I've liked about Tom Selleck. If you're a Tom Selleck fan, and he's done all these Westerns, he has attempted to be very authentic. Now, maybe they miss somewhere. We all can, because you do a lot of research, and sometimes you can just miss a little something, but he really strives for that. He's a great actor, and I think because of his love for it, and he wants to be authentic, that's what's endeared a lot of fans to him. And so, you want to be authentic, and you got to think about what time frame you're portraying and all that. Yes, he was, Michael, and I was there with him. He's the one that helped me get along, our good friend there. And I didn't know about that 76 reenactment right there, but I knew about many of them. There's a lot of Confederate cemeteries around here, or people buried in cemeteries that were Confederate soldiers, including my ancestor, at least one we know of. So you get into this, and I'm just giving an example of that. Maybe that's not your thing. That's okay. But I will tell you what, it is great to do. I mean, the battles and all that, they're fun. There's a lot in that. And, you get to fire off a lot of powder and, reenact that. But really where there's two things about it, I think. And there's probably somebody could come on and tell me more that really gets them fired up. But the two things that gets me fired up, first one is the look on a kid's face. And when that kid, he'll walk up, or she'll walk up, and they're looking at you, and it's like you're not you anymore. You're somebody else. It's, you're portraying something, and we try to stay in character and all that. And they start asking questions. Well, what's this thing for? What's that thing for? And one of we couldn't let them shoot. I've done private sessions, but at an event like that, you couldn't do that. It wouldn't be allowed for insurance purposes. But one of the great thrills is to let them hold your weapon for a minute and feel how heavy it is. And they get this great respect out of that. And they learn a lot. And sometimes you can send a kid on a lifelong journey of great joy to study history. And that thrills my heart. I love that boy or girl. And it doesn't matter what age. I've seen people really get into it later in life. Honestly, I mean, I was always interested in history, but that particular history, I'd always studied some, but I really wasn't hooked up with people that knew how to guide me in the right way. So I got educated, by those that had done thousands and thousands of hours of study, preparation, research, all this stuff that you do to portray as accurately as you can those things that you're portraying. I'll give you another one that I liked, and I think I've mentioned this before. We were doing an event at a local festival many years ago, and I had this idea. It was a fundraiser for our group, and I had this idea to do some 5x7 photos that made them look old timey, and sell them at a reasonable price. And they get a nice picture, and we made some money, and I donated a lot of stuff. Anyway, I was working that, but there was a young man that came up, and he was probably a little bit special needs, a little bit. And he said, he was standing off to the side, and he said, I said, would you like to have your picture taken? And he just kind of shook his head. I said, well, let's get you hooked up. He said, well, and this is really sad. He's a big boy. I'm a big boy. And he said, sir, I just don't think you're going to have anything that will fit me. I said, young man, and all my friends heard that. I called the others in that didn't. I said, young man, we going to fix you up. We going to get this, and it's going to look great. And I said, if you're willing to try, we'll do it. All you got to do is say yes. He said, okay. So we got over there, and we tried out different combinations of stuff. And, you can do a lot of things with photos. You can hide things with flags and different things. And you would never know And we worked on that for about 10 minutes and got this thing. I mean, everybody was helping. And we had already decided we're giving this photo away. And we took that. He had doubts. I mean, because you can't see it. I mean, he's in the middle of the shot. And so he's got all this stuff going on, people around him and everything. We back away. And I had not to expand the story too much because, I got some other things I want to cover, but we had looked at an old timey camera from the period. Now, we didn't have the resources at the time to make it exactly what that was. But I'm going to tell you what, there was a guy that donated his shop and even some of the materials, and we did our best to recreate something that was pretty awesome and very close, although there was no working parts in it like the period cameras. We actually had a digital in there, but you could not see that. We hid it from everybody. So we had the black, thing that come over your head, you tell them to hold still, and we had taken a can of corn and we had worked this thing up to just look like one of those lenses, okay, we're going to take this loose now. And I had one helping me do that. And then I took the picture and then we'd put it back on, and we took that over and we had the computer and all that kind of hid, So I said, we'll be waiting a minute. So, we went over, downloaded it, did all the things we wanted to do. And we were like, this is great. It looked awesome. So we took that out and, we took it over and gave it to him. And his eyes just lit up. This kid loved history. And he was afraid that it was going to be embarrassing. And he said, how much do I owe you, sir? I said, it's already paid for. And he said, but I didn't give you no money. I said, it's paid for. Trust me. It's paid for. And he about started crying, we're about crying. And I have said, this is a long time ago. I hope this young man's still with us, but I said somewhere out there, I'll probably never meet him again on this side of heaven. Somewhere out there, there's a photo on a wall. And this young man, now older, has kept this all these years. And he will never forget the impact that day that made in his life. I have no doubt about it. And that's what makes it great. The second thing, I said a lot there for the first thing. For the second thing, then we're going to kind of talk about some sports and other things going on. Yes, Michael, they are trying to erase history, especially Southern history, and I'll say it. You know what? Let me just, before I tell you the second thing, I'll just say to that point, Michael, history you have to take for what it is. You don't have to like it. You can despise it, but it is history. And you cannot, let me say this, you cannot erase history. You can't. Oh, you can knock some monuments down, and that's unfortunate. I think of all the people that put money into that out of a poor, extremely poor society after the war. And they built some of the most beautiful monuments. Whether you like them or not, it's not the point. They did that. There's better answers than going around tearing down monuments. There's better answers than tearing down, changing names and all this stuff that we seem to, it's become the fad of the day. And you still can't erase history. You can try to brainwash people, change their mind, hide them, tell fake history, all that. But a true person that studies history will never completely fall into that trap, and they will eventually come out of it because you know why? They love history. I'll give you an example. Well, let me tell the second thing before I forget, this elderly guy here. The second thing is when you do reenactments and you are in a battle, and they call that, what do they call that? Seeing the elephant. I hope I'm not wrong. It's been a long time. What that means is when you're in the middle of the battle and there's in the midst of a battle, and the cars are all parked away, a way that you can't see them. They do their best to have no modern things around. And a lot of these are held on farms, way out in the country and stuff. You got to have an area big enough and enough space to park. So there's, if you got hills and stuff and you're portraying something in that area that's hilly, it's even easier. right in the middle of a battle, at some point, everybody experiences it. It's like you go back in time. It's almost like you're there. Although you don't have a bullet flying at you, and we realize that. We don't in fear for our lives. But there's aspects of it that you come out of it and you have that look and everybody says, you saw it, didn't you? I remember the first time I didn't really see it. It was a lot of reasons. There was a guy I wasn't getting along with. I'd never met him. He was being a smart aleck. Instead of instructing me, he just cussed me. That's a joy. If you ever listen to this, brother, I forgive you. We talked about forgiveness this morning. I forgave you a long time ago. I don't hold no bitters. And I didn't after that. I just had to get over my mad. And I was mad. But in a future battle, I looked up and, all the cannons are going, all the guns are going. You hear the shouts of the cavalry and the commanders and all that stuff. The smoke is just waffling across, however you say that, waffling across the field. And people are pretend dying, wounded. And all of a sudden, for a brief moment, it's like you're back. It's like you say, wow, that's a lot of what they saw, although in a different way because we didn't see the carnage and all that. I'm not saying that. Please don't take me wrong. But you have a moment where you really get it, and you just experience something. Now, a lot of people don't get to experience that because they don't do it. And, some people you tell that to, they think it's kind of hokey and, you're crazy. You don't experience that. You really do. It's like going to some place that's very historic and you maybe even spend the night there. And, there's just things that, they come to you. I will say the first night before the first battle, before we had the disagreement, it was amazing. You had all these campfires going and you had, all the people gathered around talking. There was a fog that rolled in that night, a full moon. The reenactors, a lot of them, I didn't because I didn't smoke, but they were smoking the English tobacco, which is very popular. And so you got these smells that are waffling across the camps, and all of a sudden, a train come through, and it's like one of the guys said, "Stop," and everybody realized, "Shut up, don't say nothing," and we just sit there. And but with the dark and everything, you couldn't even see the power lines that were way off in the distance. And you just enjoyed the moment. And then it was over. Everybody was like, can you believe that? Like they had to have experienced something like that 150 years ago, 45, what it was at that time. And the night before the battle. And you're just moved by it. So anyway, I didn't mean to go all the way down that, but I just think it's cool. I hope that you like doing things like that. It makes you, and living histories where again, like you're embracing folks and telling them about stuff that, happened, the stories. You carry old pictures and you pretend like that's my girl back home, or, maybe it's my wife, or you got a lot of old stuff. I would carry an old Bible, of the period. It was a Bible of the period. It was real, not made up. And I'd lay that on my blanket and, we try to have, some foods of that they typically would have. And it just, you see the eyes light up and it just amazes them. And I think that's, just one of the coolest thing when you have that and you see it yourself. And then you think, you know what, there's only so many people that see this. And with all, and it is work. I mean, let's face it, you get together and march and drill and everything else, just like a regular army, because you got to get this unit looking somewhat in order. You don't want to be embarrassing. So you do all this and you're trying to portray it as best you can. So there's a lot of work that goes in, and you're sleeping on the ground and some of them, they had the tents and stuff, but our units, we were just, they called us hardcore, but we just slept on the ground around the campfires and stuff. And I have a lot of experience. I didn't have as many as some. There's battlefields that I didn't get to visit, or battles portrayed I didn't get to visit. Working man, sometimes you just couldn't do that. But Yeah, Michael, you can't erase history, but I wanted to tell you this. I didn't forget. I was at a meeting, and this was local. Um, yeah, and you probably, Michael, know the guy that was a city manager down here for a long time, and he's still with us and active and doing stuff. But he he set up a meeting at the convention center, and he he had some folks there from Richmond, and they were from the museum up there. And some of them, there were two or three of them that came up to speak, and they said, I lived half my life thinking that this did not affect me, and I hated it, and I didn't want nothing to do with it, and I despised it. But they they were looking for a job, and a couple of them were just looking to research family. And about every one of them in their research, they found documentation that changed their mind. And they said, you know what? It's my history too. So that's what I say about history. You don't have to like it. There's bad parts of history. Absolutely. But we can't change history. History's there. History, I mean, World War II is there. Can't change it. You can write books about it, and they do. You can have documentaries. You can have places where people speak, and they focus on every aspect of this thing you can think of. Believe me, they do. And they've studied it for years, and they write a book, and they come and give a talk, and it's fascinating. But they just present it with the truth of as best we know it. This is what I found. This is the evidence. Here's the records. Here's this. Here's that. And it truth is truth. So do bad things happen in war? Absolutely, every time. So we're not embracing war. We're not celebrating war. We're just saying history is history. And I'm not just talking about war. History is history. A lot of people like to say the Titanic. It's a tragedy. I mean, how much money's been made off of that by people who want to go and visit, look at artifacts, study the whole history of the ship line and what happened all the way through, study the stories of the people that survived, those who died, what was their background. And you can go on and on and on. So I love that kind of thing. I love to study that. Problem is just time, having enough time to do that, to study those things. And when you're looking back, and maybe it's your family history, and you're looking back, there's a lot of dead ends. You'll be studying this like there's nothing else here. But you'll just keep digging, and all of a sudden you get a new road to go down, a new pathway. And then there's those days where you just sit and you go, wow. I mean, it's just amazing. And you just, there's a feeling about it, and you tell everybody, and they're probably not as excited as you are, but it's in you. It's like in your DNA, because this is you carry their blood. They're, part of their DNA and all that. They're your direct line. And you say, that's my great, great, great grandpa or grandma, or that's my uncle, and it becomes very personable and very real. And I love that kind of thing. All right. I've exhausted that. Probably bored you to death, but you can tell that I do love and have a history of that. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on this week. Of course, the Olympics are going on, and I haven't got to really watch or keep up for many reasons. But there's a lot of medals won by the USA. Not sure when that ends, so some of you may have been caught up into doing that. Maybe, I'm not sure what time that comes on. Maybe doing it today, but I don't know how long they got left. But there's the Olympics, so that's a big deal that's going on. But hey, something that I am closer to, because I like the Olympics, but it's I don't like every sport, and I don't watch everything. I just I want them to do well. All the athletes be safe, win medals, hopefully, and come home. But I do like NFL football and college football, and we're getting close. In fact, preseason football, and this probably bores some of you, but preseason football begins, yes, tomorrow night. We have, and I looked, there's 2 games tomorrow, the Lions and the Giants and the Panthers and the Patriots. And I know it's preseason, and I don't care. It's here, and I love it. Then you go to Friday night, and you've got Falcons and Dolphins, and you've got Texans and Steelers. Eagles and Ravens, and then you go into Saturday and you've got the Chiefs and Jaguars, Commanders and Jets. You've got the Bears and the Bills, and the Raiders and the Vikings, and the Packers and the Browns. 49ers, Titans. Saturday's a big day. Buccaneers, Bengals, Seahawks, Chargers, Saints, Cardinals, Oh, anyway, a lot of, and I didn't even finish them all. Let's see, Cowboys, Rams, Cowboy Cook, that's on our program. He'll love that. And Colts and Broncos. Looking forward to that. So if you're an NFL fan, I think it's 2 weeks, college football kicks off. I love it, and I can't wait to watch those, and college footballs too as well. And I wanted to say, last night here in the South, there's people that root for a lot of teams, but I'm a true blue Southern, root for the local team. The Braves got killed last night, 10-0. The Phillies won. I think the Mets lost. That helps. And the Braves just kicked off, or went to bat, and I think that's in the mid-first. So 0-0. So we'll be keeping up with that for you sports fans. There's some games that have already finalized, but I think the real important ones for us, the Mets is on later, and the Phillies are on way late tonight. So come on, Braves, get it together. You battled injuries, but come on, you got the talent, you can do it. Can't let the Mets pass you. I'm sorry if you're a Mets fan, just can't let that happen. And we're going to root against the Phillies too. Sorry, Phillies fans, but I'm rooting for the Braves. Hoping at least they can make the playoffs. I don't know if they can make that division title, but they had a bad run there, and the Phillies just kept winning. So give them credit. I'm not taking anything away. So those are two of the things that on tap. Baseball's getting into that, getting ready for that fall, getting ready for the fall classic and all that, and the playoffs and all that. That's cooler weather. Can't wait. NFL preseason just reminds us that the season is just around the corner. College football, a couple of weekends away. May take a few days to roll all that out, but that's exciting for me. I love sports. Other bits of news, the hurricane is now going to be off the coast and gathering some steam, unfortunately, and headed toward the Carolinas. To all you folks that are Florida, southeast Georgia, so sorry. We thoughts and prayers. I know that you may think that's not much, but we do pray for you in our churches and stuff. We pray for folks that's going through something like that. And you folks in the Carolinas, North and South Carolina, or wherever else it may have some energy left, we hope it's not real bad. Hopefully it won't pick up a lot of steam and a lot of activity, and just to continue to disintegrate. That's tough. That's really tough. And there's a lot of people going to be rebuilding. A lot of cost. Think about the insurance cost on this stuff. And we wonder why insurance rates go up. Somebody's going to pay for it. And yeah, we're all paying for it. Because they're not going to lose money. They're going to get it somewhere. So premiums go up. Everything goes up. We don't like it. But that's the way it is. So, you just have to do what you do and try to survive. I was listening or reading rather, someone we know who's on a fixed income, and they've got grandkids that they're like myself. They're going into school, and there's some sticker shock for what it costs to just get your kids going. Some of it's suggested or strongly implied, but some of it is required. Of course, I think we've always paid for locker fees. Thankfully, it hasn't changed too much over the years. I paid $15. I'd be interested to know if anybody had more than that. Yeah, Michael, a lot of people have gave up on pro sports. I guess because I'm in fantasy sports, I still enjoy it. So I am frustrated with some of the things they do. Thank you for staying in there with me. But there's other fees. There's school fees. There's, sometimes, every classroom has needs. Can you get these supplies? And those lists seem to get longer. And you hear a lot of complaining around this time of year. And I get it. Some people, they just don't have the money. We live in an area that does have a lot of people that struggles. In fact, so much so, I don't know about the rest of the state, but one of the counties here, I think all of the schools qualified for a grant. And you know what? I know my tax dollars are paying for that. I really don't care. All the kids are going to get free, I think, lunch and breakfast. If they want something extra, they have to pay for it. And in the other county, there's 5 schools that qualified. And those cost we get the updates, how much is owed to the cafeteria. We work hard. It's not always easy. We try to, yeah, property taxes, bought the supplies. Yeah. But it doesn't pay for everything as things go up. But we try to give everything that we can. And it was a struggle this year. We had a birthday to do for our granddaughter. We had to get the school supplies and clothes and the associated cost with that. We're still got a couple things to finish up. And then you pay the locker fee, and you're like, hell, I ain't got nothing else right now. But the lady that posted, and we're neighbors, and she was talking about, she has 2 kids. So, that doubles everything. And she was talking about, I don't see how anybody can make it and pay this on a fixed income. And that's truth. That's truth. It's tough. It is a tough area for that. And there are a lot of people that are, below the poverty line, people that are just struggling. They've had maybe massive expensive for healthcare, surgeries, things breaking down, whatever. And they're trying to manage all of that on, on a fixed income. And my heart goes out. And, we try to help people like that because, if we have extra, then, hey, let's help, and I think a lot of people try to do that. When I was growing up, there were times we were pretty poor, and there were a lot of people that paid it forward and helped our family at times. My dad always worked hard, but he'd get laid off sometimes, and it was just harder times. And people would give us stuff. That's what good neighbors do. And then they have the like in your area, I don't know if they do that. Hopefully they do, but Toys for Tots and, different organizations. Sometimes it's police organizations that collect money, and they have toy runs, all that, the bikers and stuff. And that list gets longer every year. And these guys and gals just show up and make it happen. When they look at the cost that's going to be associated with that, they're thinking, I don't know how I can afford this. And there goes my dog again. I don't know how I can afford this, and or not afford it, but how we can supply the need to all these families. And but they do it. It's amazing. People come together, and I'm going to tell you, in our area, we was talking about disasters. I cannot count the times that people have come together in our community and loaded up 18-wheeler or trailers, for 18-wheelers, and sent them to a community in the region that they knew was struggling, and water, clothes, food stuff, anything and everything you do. And they just come pouring out and load this stuff up. And it takes a lot of workers because they just come pouring out. They'll load up multiple trailers, and a lot of communities do that. And, it's a blessing. It really is. And, I'm not saying that people don't do that around the country. They do. But in some places it might not be as prevalent as it is here. And I'm very thankful that we have people like that in our area that will do that and support those that are needy, the homeless, and the list goes on and on. You can look around your community. The one thing you'll always find is somebody in need. Now, I know sometimes there's extenuating circumstances that cause them to be in that place. And, you may feel adults, okay, You're on your own. Some people feel that way. But kids, they can't help it. They cannot help it. And so, I just love to see that kind of support. And I will say, I know we were talking about pro sports, and some of these guys, they make massive amounts of money, but they are really good to give money into charities and stuff. Sometimes their own, but there's others, and literacy programs, school lunch programs, backpack programs. We have so many backpacks given in this region. There's no child should ever not have a backpack. Now, they may not be the one they want, but it's a good, new, clean backpack. And so, I know a lot of kids that have been able to get backpacks due to the giving of others. And we have a lot of givers from the rich to the poor in this area, and they will give from their empty cupboards to help people. That's just the goodness that is in man sometimes, and probably placed there by the Lord, although not all of them are Christians. But that's what they were raised. They were raised to help people, to do those things. And I'm just grateful we have something like that, around that. We're not it is a dog eat dog world. There's no doubt it is a dog eat dog world a lot of times, but you will find those people that'll pull over to the side of the road. There's the people that'll stop. There's the people that'll ask questions and say, how can I help? And whether it's animals or, things like that. So, speaking of that, I do need to run a couple of commercials. Hope you'll stay with us. And we're just going to run a couple of commercials real quick. And ARA is one of those. And I do like to run their ad, and they're wonderful people, and we hope you can give to them. So let me run that for a couple other programs. We'll be right back. We're not done yet. Got a good long ways to go. Hopefully Rob will join us very, very soon. Here at the Southern Fried Podcast, one of the blessed things we've been able to do is partner with the wonderful people at Animal Rescue Alliance, Inc., ARA. These folks are a no-kill shelter in Donaldsonville, Georgia. You see the contact info on the screen. And these folks would love to have you come adopt a dog or a cat. They have folks that come from all over the United States, not just the state of Georgia. They're great folks. It's been a wonderful partnership between Southern Fried Podcast and ARA. And we've been blessed to meet some of the folks that have adopted animals from ARA. Also, we've been able to encourage people to donate and volunteer. They encourage volunteers that are in the area, and they're just wonderful people. We'd love for you to contact them, meet them too, go on their website, see some of the animals, and we know you'll want to partner with them too by taking a dog or a cat to their forever home. Join with us, the Southern Fried Podcast, in support of this great work of the Animal Rescue Alliance, Inc., ARA. We know you'll be happy you did. I know we are. Hey, this is Dave with the Southern Fried Podcast. One of the favorite things that we do is sit out on the front porch with a glass of sweet tea and just talk about whatever. That's what you do on the front porch, wave at the neighbors as they go by, or even a stranger. We're friendly people, and we like to just talk about whatever. You never know what Rob and Dave are going to talk about on the front porch, and sometimes Chris joins us, and then you really don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll laugh a little bit, we'll shock each other, and maybe, just maybe, you'll join in with us and chat with us on the front porch. Join us live for Front Porch Talking each Friday night at 7 p.m. That's your friends here at the Southern Fried Podcast. Hey, here at the Southern Fried Podcast, we've got a new morning show. Well, it's actually the same show, but we added a day. We're now on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at 6 a.m., and we go till about 7, maybe a little after if we're having a really good show and we just want to keep it going for a few minutes, but it's usually about 6 to 7. We hope you join us. And as our tagline says, nobody really wants to get up, but since you're up, grab a cup of coffee and join us. Hopefully we can get you started on your day talking about a little bit of sports or news, have a little laughter. Everybody needs that in the morning along with that caffeine. And hey, we're trying to get you awake. You might be trying to get us awake. So join in the chat. Let us know what's going on. Sometimes our best programs are from the chats that people tell us some things that are going on, or remind us of some things, or correct us on some things. Hey, all the above. We hope you join us on the Southern Fried Podcast morning show, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Have a great day in Dixie, and God bless. Hello, Southern Fried Podcast and the Cornbread Nation. Hey, we appreciate you being a follower and supporter of the podcast. We wanted to post this promo for you to see some of the scheduling we have on. We do announce some of these, but we want to run these in some of the shows so you can see what days and times, or at least days. We'll kind of tell you the time as we talk through those, and sometimes they get adjusted a little bit, but these are the days we have, and some coming programming that we're working on. And also on the screen, you can see all the social streams that we're on. Hey, we're on the big ones now: Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, and X, and all of those are live except Rumble. And we're working on that right now. We store all of our programs at Telegram. And you can access something if you missed it. They're easy to find. There's just the programming, just the videos. We're also on Truth and Getter with all of our programming. TikTok, we just put the morning funnies and our devotions and maybe pet of the week or something like that, as well as with a new one we're on Clapper. And these are just morning funnies and the devotions. If they're not too long, if David wasn't talking too long, they'll fit on there. We like Clapper. It's a new one for us. It's been really a blessing to have. Also on Instagram, building that up. Parler, which just has really came back online. We were on Parler years ago with our personal account. Now they're back. And we've got Twitch that we're trying to get fired up. So there may be another one or two things out there, but this is where you can find us. So join us on the Southern Fried Podcast and become part of the Cornbread Nation. Hey, we appreciate you. Appreciate your support. Tell others, pass it along, like, follow, whatever the social stream is. And whether you watch one program or two programs or all of them, we thank you for being a supporter. Hey, have a great day. Join us this next week and in the weeks to come. All right, we're back, and appreciate you watching through that. And just since I've cut that one for the programming, we have two updates to that. We are now live on Rumble. We finally figured out what we were doing wrong. And Twitch, very new to us, but it is also live streaming on there. We have the schedule listed on there. So Rumble's been around with us for a little bit, but we just had some troubles there trying to figure out, because they do theirs a little bit different than some of the other streams. And Twitch, a whole different animal, but really wasn't that hard to hook up. And we're very new there, so we're trying to get established there. But hey, the stream is there, so we're making moves, and we've got, and by the way, I just want to say real quick on ARA. I said ad, and it is an ad for them. We don't take any money from them. This is our gift to them. We've done programming with them. We highlight a cat and a dog each week. And we're talking about, even today, I was talking about some things to help them out in certain ways. They need the help. They don't kill the animals. They need help. They need some things, adoption certainly, but donations go a long way because they make sure these dogs are well taken care of and have all the things they need for an adoption. They're healthy. They're fine animals. I mean, this is their home right now. But they're waiting on their forever home. And if you're in the area, volunteer. So that, when I say ad, I don't mean it's not a paid ad. We just want to do that and get that news out there best way we can. So we pop it up in the middle. And sometimes people don't watch all of our programs, so we like to talk about different programming we have and kind of just spread the word. So that's our reasons to do that. And hey, if nothing else, it gives us just a minute of break to go refill coffee or do other things. And so we appreciate you being patient with us and allowing us the time to do that. This is a little longer program for some Wednesday night, so we're able to run a little more. So, but we appreciate that. We're coming up with things all the time. There's things in development that we're just trying to figure out what we want to do and how we want to do it. But what I wanted to say is what's coming. I hope this week. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. Is our merchandise store and for the merch. And folks, we're going to keep those prices just as low as we can. We're not looking to make a lot of money or anything like that. If whatever comes in is pays for fees that we use to put it out there, we do this for fun. We're not looking to do that, but there are some costs associated. So, but the main reason we want you to have the stuff. We want you to, it's advertising. You carry it around. There's some awesome looking stuff. I know you hadn't seen it, but there's coffee mugs and there's water bottles and there's shirts and there's hats. And I'm a hat and a coffee mug kind of guy. And all the things that we talk about, Mama said, get up, pray up, coffee up, front porch talking, cornbread nation, all these slogans and stuff that we have developed over time that not that long of a time, that are special to us. We'd like for you to get some of that. And I promise you, we're going to keep those as reasonable as possible. Times are tough. And our intent is to give some of our guests that come on for interviews and stuff, we're hoping to give them a memento of that and as a way of saying thank you. But anyway, this is going to go up. There'll be additions to it as we go. And I told the guys that are, I've done a little bit. There's really, we've all got to get online together to finish it up. But I've told, they've worked so much more than I'm an idea guy. I throw ideas, and Chris especially. But Robert has now recently, he has done so much as well. So salute to those guys, and can't wait to get some of that out. I've seen the images. They've been sharing them with me. And there's a coffee mug, well, more than one, but there's one that definitely has my name on it. And a hat for sure. There's hoodies and all this stuff, but hey, Christmas will be coming, and we just hope that it'll be, something you can advertise with. We're not going anywhere unless the good Lord takes us home. We're looking to be here. We enjoy what we do. And I've had people ask me, they said, what do you hope to get out of this? Honest question. What do you hope to get out of it? And I say, get out of it. They say, yeah. What's your end game? What do you want? I said, well, I really don't want nothing. That's the way Robert feels. That's the way Chris feels. That's the way Cowboy Cook feels. They said, well, you're getting something out of it. I said, you know what I'm getting out of it? Enjoyment. That anybody would stop and listen to something this old man had to say and maybe get a laugh out of it, or be blessed by scripture, or, share a video or whatever, and it blesses somebody else in whatever way it does. Or we interview somebody and we learn just awesome things. That's my payday. This is a hobby for me. We didn't know we was going to do this. This all came up recently, and we have jumped in and hammered. And not because we're trying to have anything that, we're not in competition with anybody. I honestly don't look. I'll follow some podcasters. I listen to them. I love the medium. I do. And there's some that I listen to that are tremendous. Huge. But all of them say this, a lot of them will say the same thing. Now, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. I just like getting on here and talking to you. And I like sharing if it's politics or if it's faith. And we do a lot of those things. Maybe not so much politics, but I'm tinkering with an idea for a show to just look at events going on around the world and kind of talk about that. Don't want to dive into the hatred or anything, because you sure can get it. But we'll say how we feel, but we're just not going to hammer on that. I think we have people that kind of want us to do that because whether you like it or not, you've kind of become a voice to others. And I'm a conservative, so I'm very concerned about the election. I'm going to always vote. I am a poll worker, and I love it, and a lot of work, but I see all sides of it. And I know every thing that's going on that concerns me. I'm up to date on it. I have people ask me all the time, what do you know about this? Or have you even looked at this? And I say, I sure do. They say, you don't talk about it much. Well, I'm not going to talk about it at work because that's kind of off limits. And on here, we've tried to just have it a family friendly, funny, faith, family, all that. And, but maybe some late night programming, where we may do a live or something, and we may limit that to where you have to be a certain age or something. Not that we would say anything wrong, just because the content, maybe we can do that, and looking forward to maybe having some of that. There's another program I just thought about today. They're going to kill me. They're thinking all these programs, man, we're taking a lot of time, but this is what I do. I'm getting older. I go and I'm busy and I do, but when I'm at home and the bosom of my family, as they say. And my family's supported me 100%. I always people say 110. I don't know how you get 110, but if it were possible, they would. And we've made them a part of it as much as they can. They, my wife watches all of our stuff, and I'm thankful to her. She, the best payday is when I hear my wife chuckling. She's probably laughing at me, and that's a good thing. We're going to give Rob about 5 or 10 more minutes, and I'm going to pull up some pictures here. Michael, if you're still hanging in with us, let me get comments back up here as I pulled that down. And yes, Robert, I definitely listened to both of those. Have listened to both of those for different reasons. We'll pop that up. And absolutely, fine people. And what I like about Right Side is they just put it out there unfiltered. They don't try to. What I've noticed, they don't really try to angle it or anything. They just say, here it is. And this is where we're at. And they talk to people and let them say what they want to say, as long as it's clean and all that. And they're just people that have a passion for those things, whether you like them or not. You got to give them credit that there's an honesty there. And boy, don't we want honesty in politics, leaders, media. There's some out there that are horrible, and I'm going to say there's still a lot of people got their head in the sand. Yes, it's true. I think that's why people are reaching out to us to just say it a little bit. and so I feel like we will do that little bit. And while holding on to, yes, Michael, that's another one. And I don't mind popping that up too. So all these, yes. And we're looking for those conservative voices that, hey, and let's face it. I know there's 3 candidates, or really 4. Independents, probably Green Party. I don't remember which one the one is running on, but maybe it's Libertarian. I don't know. And then you got Republican and Democrat. So that's not a mystery. And most people are falling in behind 2 of those. The numbers bear it out, every poll. And this election has a lot of people nervous on both sides. So we're going to speak to that a little bit. We listen to the Cornbread Nation, and they realize, and they even said, we had one friend. He said, "Hey, listen, I know you're trying to stay away from this, but." Some of these things, and he was talking about quotes that were said by some good conservatives from the past and funny things they had. He thought we could tie it in that way, and we can. We just got to look for the right platform that we do that would do that. And, you can't please everybody. By the way, most people probably would hate us, these guys, what are they doing? I'm trying to reach everybody. There's an audience out there for every podcast. I used to, let me say this, and if I'm going to give Robert about 7 minutes, and we're going to pull these pictures up because I really do want to get to them. We'll have to get some more for him if you can't. Hey, he's doing family time. It's fine. But I forgot what I was going to say. Oh man. So tell me, Michael, what I was saying in the chat. Oh my goodness. I just went blank when I was thinking about the pictures and stuff, but, anyway, it'll come back to me. You know what they say, it comes back around. It might be 2 hours from now when I'm already off the air, but it does come back. But folks, go vote, take a part, be a good citizen, say all those things, encourage others to sign up. It is important. Every election is important, especially presidential elections. And I know the election integrity and all those issues. All I can do is support the people that are looking into those things. There's a lot of good people doing it. But I can vote, and I'm thankful I have that right to vote. By the way, each Saturday we do a vet of the week, or vets if we have several. And every week when I put those together, and that's, Robert usually does the pets. We just kind of found out in doing this, we love all of it. But it just helps, sometimes we can come on and do things that we record, and it doesn't require both of us to be here. And we kind of missed a couple, we were busy, sick, busy working or whatever it was. And it just kind of come to us, hey, the veteran thing that's really kind of your thing. hey, the pet thing is really kind of your thing, although we will get together on some of this at times. Absolutely. But anyway, when I'm putting those vets together, it's emotional to me. Um, it's really emotional. And I think about the families that are that have lost loved ones. This week we covered one from the great state of Alabama in the Gulf War, and we've had a lot of views on that. And I hope that it doesn't. We do it respectful. We play taps and we talk about what they did for the country and we salute them. And we ask to pray for their family. And I just hope if this young man's family, friends, whoever happen to see this out there, because it's going to be out there, it's posted online. I hope it doesn't bother them. And I hope that it will, even though it still hurt, certainly, that they would say, hey, I'm glad you remembered. I didn't know this gentleman. I just feel like I'm led sometimes to go look at a certain thing in a certain area, and it always jumps out to me. I review a lot of things, and then there will be that one that just jumps out, and I read their story, everything I can get on it. And it's really emotional. The sacrifice to defend freedom. Man. Anyway, dragged the program down, but we can't put her head in the sand. I think that's where I was at, putting your head in the sand. So, yes, Michael, it is a lot of good against evil. And, we want good things. We want families together. We want families protected. We want to protect, the unborn, the right to defense, strong military, freedom of voice. Absolutely. We want to stand on all those things. A real American's not looking for a handout. They may need a hand up sometimes. They're looking for a handout. Everybody needs help sometimes. But you know what? Those that have gave their life for the cause of freedom, I'm pretty strong about this. Probably more than some, but we better take care of those families. Because nothing you do will replace dad or mom. And they just deserve our utmost respect and appreciation, prayers, and to not forget. That's the problem. We're so short, in our beliefs, our remembrance. We remember things and we forget things easily. And the people, sometimes they, 6 months out of a major tragedy, they've already forgotten about it. Not everybody, but a lot of them. So anyway, all right. We're going to give 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes, Rob. Be on the clock. And Rob says he'd be here in 5. Okay, we're going to expand it, and we're going to give him 5. So we're going to make it. So thank you, Rob. I'll tell him when he gets in here. I'm going to get my little note here in the chat. But hopefully that's taking a minute to go up. But we definitely want him to be in here. This is kind of fun. And Michael, hopefully you can hang with us. We're going, we go a little longer on Wednesday night, Friday night. I mean, sometimes we go 2 hours. The morning show is about an hour. So we are going live now with Mama Said. And I believe that Sunday morning in the Word, that's going to be live now. We're going to adjust the time. I'm going to adjust that back. I've already done it. But in that programming, I don't know if I actually captured that, but we'll update that because, again, we're just adjusting so we can go live. And, hey, at 10 o'clock, I'm in Sunday school. So if you're going to do it live, you got to be there. I can't do it from the middle of my class. So, and I would just do it from the church, but it's hard to get any kind of good Wi-Fi on the mountain. You'd think on a mountain you'd get it better, but in this area, kind of out in the country on the mountain, and it's really I have nothing to do unless I forget I'll be here. Thank you, Michael. We and Michael worked together for a long time, and I keep up through him like we all do through Facebook and stuff. And brother, we've prayed for you. I tried to send you some encouraging notes. there's not much we could say for some of the stuff that you've been through. But you know what? You're still there and you're still getting along. I'll salute you, my friend. And thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. And for anybody that wants to join, if you're just a watcher and you don't want to comment, you don't want to come on the screen, all that, that's fine. Hey, thanks for watching. If you watch 2 minutes of our program or 60% of it, or hey, you watch all of it. Life's busy. Everybody's got a lot going on. We do a lot of programming. I told somebody, if you're watching everything we've got, you're busy. But we're trying to hit a lot of different things. And some people just like our funnies. Some people just like our morning devotion, scripture reading. Some people, they really tune in because you can kind of see who's popping in, and you can look afterwards and get this, analytics and stuff, analysis of it. And you get different age groups, but Mama said is different. Sports is different. We do a Saturday night sports every Saturday night. We've been pre-recording that. I want to go live on that soon, but right now I can't. I can't. My Saturday nights, but kind of busy. But in the future, I think that will probably go live. But college football is coming, so it still may be recorded. So we're on the air, we're on the screen, but it's recorded. But bless you, Michael. I hope in some way, your disabilities and stuff. I hope that in some way, we brighten your day. I do hope that, and I know you brighten our day, and anybody else that's in the stream right now. Or those that will watch afterwards and they're recorded after it posts. I mean, it's on the streams now, but some of them will actually slide it over. We don't have a way to put it up there live, but even in the live ones, it'll post, it'll be there. And I will say this now, Facebook has been amazing. And that was our first stream. We quickly went to YouTube, and X is really recent, but it's really been exploding. Thank you for our X followers. And all the other ones, Rumble has been there for a little bit, but it's newer. But I want to say YouTube, we could really use a boost there if we've got a few followers. But hey, and there comes the man. But let me finish my thought while he gets ready and comes up on the screen. If we could really build the YouTube follow, hey, tell them to cut their notifications off. Just pull us up. Have a follow there and share that out because we really want to build the YouTube. We got a lot of great things going on, and it is growing, but we want to explode that. Robert, you're not going to believe this.
What's that?
Was you listening to the stream?
No, I was not.
This is amazing because I said I got these pictures I want to bring up and show to Robert, and I counted down. I mean, I gave you like a bunch of time, then I gave you a little bit of time. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give him 7 more minutes. And then it got down. I said, it's 3. I'm going to give 3 minutes. We're going to show the pictures. I want to get these in. We'll have to show them to Robert later. But at that moment, you said, I'll be there in 5. And I said, we're waiting the 5 minutes. So I hope you had a great time. Hey, Pete, you got to do things, family things. You go do those things. But It's good to have you. We've been talking a little bit about everything, hobbies and, oh, goodness, sports, politics. We kind of throw the round robin of stuff in and talk. We played commercials and stuff, but I'll give you a chance to just talk to people for a minute. I'm gonna rest my voice, get a drink, and then I've got some pictures I want to show you. They're not really. I say you, but what I want to here's what I say, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you. The pictures are not meant for you or Michael or somebody our age to say, "Do you remember this?" No, we know. My question tonight is how many young people know what they are, have seen one, and then could any of these things, there are on a couple of them, they're probably still out there. How many of these things could even be used today? So anyway, that's my preface to that. Robert, love you, brother. Glad to have you. You take it.
I'm sorry I was running late. Me and the wife had to run around a little bit, and we do put up a lot of content. So we're on here a lot, and sometimes you just have to back up 10 and punt. And I found myself in one of those situations tonight, but we've got me and Dave both, and both of us can step up, and we back each other up. And we're glad for the understanding for all the people out there that watch. But yeah, it's been a day, and I'm gonna get some video here in the next week or two of some of these peanut fields for you, Dave.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, and we'll put them up and let y'all see some peanuts growing. They're already picking and shelling corn now. That crop is coming in. It's pretty much done. But peanut season is big time around here. and they'll be digging and rolling peanuts over here before long. And I'm going to get y'all some pictures of before and after. We're going to get them before they dig them up and then after they dig them up. Right now, they're nice, big, bushy plants. And for those of you that don't know, peanuts actually grow underground. And a lot of people don't realize that. So they have to dig them, let them dry for a day or two, then go through and pick them. And it's a process. So we'll get some before and after shots.
Awesome. How's the wife doing?
She's doing fine. She's doing just fine, and she's had a little incident at the bank. You wouldn't think bank work be a physical job, but somebody dropped a tray and she went to catch it and got a kick.
That's all it takes, man.
Yeah. Once you get our age, it's kind of, getting up there in years a little bit, and little things happen, and and she's just a little bit younger than me, not much. But she's sorry, the cats are excited that I'm back, and Chuck just ran up the cat tree here.
It's okay. My dog's been going nuts. A couple of times, so I know that came over the air. But hey, you got dogs, pets, you understand. And if you don't, tough.
Well, I don't know if I've shown
dogs have got a dog and cats have got a cat.
Yeah. Have I shown Chuck off on here?
No, I've just seen the cat that has the one eye.
That's Chuck.
Oh, that is Chuck. You have. Well, I don't know if you did that on Hump Day News, but you have showed. I forgot the names. He's got about 4 cats.
Oh,
it's a cute little fella, and they got him and took care of him, and he's a good size fella.
He wasn't
Chuck. And by the way, there's a story behind the Chuck. If you haven't heard that, Robert will share that here in a minute. But Chuck's a fine. I like him. I like it. Great color. That's Chuck.
Okay, look at the camera, Chuck. You go look. He's ornery. He's feeling ornery. He's feeling his oats tonight. Get on up here. Can you see? Oh, this is my little buddy right here. He's not happy about this because I got him off the cat tree, and he wants right back up there, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we inherited Chuck last year. He's just over a year old. He's huge. But when we got him, he was just a little bitty thing. He was mewing out there. I guess he either walked away from home or he got abandoned, but he was awfully hungry. So we took him, and he had an eye that was messed up, and he couldn't see out of it. And we took him to the vet, and my little free kitty cat ended up costing me $1,500. But that's all right. We got that eye taken care of. He was just getting infected. You do what you got to do.
You do what you got to do. I got to back up, Robert. We give each other a hard time.
Oh,
there's 2 things I want to bring up. You would not let me get past this, and maybe I heard it wrong. When you were talking about picking those peanuts, it sounded like to me I heard 2 words combined there. Am I wrong?
What did you hear?
Well, you kind of started. I think you're going to talk about picking and shelling, but I think the S part got in the front of the picking. And folks, if Michael, did you hear that?
Picking and shelling corn.
Or corn, but what I heard is that was reversed at first. You'll have to go back and listen to the tape.
Okay. I might have said
I could be wrong. I may be wrong.
Well, depending upon the type of corn, some of it's picked and some of it's shelled. If it's sweet corn, they're going to pick it.
Well, it's the way you said it's the way you said the picking that I picked up on. Oh, but I am an elderly man, so I may have heard that wrong. The hearing is going. The second thing is, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The second thing is our communication with each other the other day when I was sick and couldn't be on the air. I've a total fluke. Had no idea what he was talking about. Robert, take it away. This was hilarious.
Dave and I have given each other a hard time for 30 some odd years. Absolutely. And we could say whatever we want to each other pretty much, and the other one's not going to get upset. Now I got to pull this up because I want to make sure that I don't misquote this. So the other night Dave was sick, and Dave could not be here. And Chris was sick. He couldn't be here. So I was here by myself. So he sent me a text.
You said
the day
Michael.
after.
Michael helped you. You know, Michael
Yeah,
came
Michael
in.
helped me.
He
Michael
really
was here,
praised
and
him.
Michael helped me. And I told him next time I was going to put him up on screen. But he said, "Yeah, this is Dave. This is Dave here, and this is the actual text messages. I don't know if y'all can read it or see it. Okay. Sorry for yesterday. Man, I got bad sick and went home and went to bed. I will be active today for sure." And I sent back, "Cool. Hey, those things gonna happen. I just hope it wasn't too bad. I just hope I wasn't too bad last night. It's a lot easier with two. Laugh out loud." Now, when I say easier with two, I mean two people. David responds. Let me get it up here. "It was very bad, but I pressed on." And so I replied, "Well, we all do our best." And I'm thinking, you know what? He was being an AWS. I mean, he was getting on me right there. And then I thought, no, it's because he was sick. He was very bad sick, and he's going to press on. Oh no, but I am not letting this fly by. No, I am not. Oh, so it was very bad, huh? You going to press on? Okay, I see how this works.
So when he told me that, I went, no. But then I laughed about that all day long. And I kind of misread that. You know, you'll glance at something, I felt bad. It was the next day I did go to work, but I didn't feel good. I was struggling. And I got just come in, and I totally missed my recording with Cook. I forgot to even tell him. And I really, my granddaughter was doing the texting. I did that. I owned that, but she was doing texting out and saying, she was doing it like she was me, you know, it made her feel good. Hey, I won't be on tonight. I'm bad sick or whatever she said. But as I thought about that, Robert, oh my gosh, I laughed so hard, man. But I thought that was pretty cool. All right,
Yeah,
my man, go ahead.
I wish you had said it now.
Oh yeah, I missed an opportunity. That's what being sick will do to you.
That's right.
Scoot us to the side, Robert, and I'm going to pop up. I think we can be on screen and these pictures too. They're not huge. If they do, they do.
Let's see,
Folks, I want to talk about a few oldies. Here's the first one. Now, we all remember the phone booth, right? How many times have you stood in a freezing cold phone booth or a burning up phone booth, or somebody's knocking on the door? Hey, I got to use the phone. You got a cord that's about, that long. You can't get comfortable. And if Lord forbid, if it was long distance, because you better have a load of quarters. Please deposit $1.20, or whatever, or the line will hang up, or whatever. And you always check the coin drop. We talked about this a little bit here on I remember that episode. I know that you'll probably tell me that there are some at airports and stuff, I think, still, but they don't look like that I think. Do you ever see those anymore, Rob, anywhere?
No.
I don't either. And I wonder if some young people would even know how to use that if there were one. I'm not picking on young people. They just never experienced it.
I think they could figure out the push button ones. I think it's the rotary ones that would really throw them off. Because they still be trying to push the buttons.
Yeah. I got to tell you, when I was dating my future wife, we didn't have a phone. I mean, it was some tough times. I was a poor boy. And we would scrape together money for dates and stuff, or I did. That's a guy's job there. I'll stand on that. And I'm going to have to tell you our first date, what it consisted of. When you're poor, but anyway, I can remember standing in these for a few hours. We're in love. She had a phone at home, and I would go to the phone booth and call. And of course, somebody would need to use the phone, or I'm expecting a call. She'd have to hang up, so I just have her call me at that phone booth. So we did that. But that was, and the doors sometimes would not work right. You couldn't get it closed all the way. It didn't want to open. There were some people who had phobias about getting stuck in those. And I think there are stories of people that did get stuck. So I thought that was pretty good as I thought about that today. The old telephone booth, and this is kind of looks like it's out somewhere, and that's the one I'm thinking of. The ones that were out on the street corner.
Yeah.
Here in the South, what was Southern Bell? Was it Southern Bell that had all those up?
Bell South.
Or Bell South. Okay. And pretty cool, and like I said, you always check the coin return for, you had to kind of wipe those things off. I mean, they were kind of gnarly,
You
nasty.
better look at the headset before you put it on your ear too.
I remember you talking about that.
Somebody
Absolutely.
Or Vaseline or anything. You'd be like, ugh.
It gets a little tougher. That's not that hard of one. And if it were around today, like you said, maybe they could figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. What is that?
I know what that is.
Tell us what that is, Rob.
That's a spout that you push down into a can of oil so you can pour it into your car.
That, I guess, is totally obsolete nowadays.
Yeah.
Because of the way they make the containers.
Yeah.
Where would you put it? It'd just mess it up. But we had those round ones, and they had the metal or aluminum lids. They made them cheaper over time, but you would push that down in there. And if you were changing your oil, you did that probably 5 times and poured it into the up into the oil part. Yes. And where you saw these a lot was at gas stations. Yes. Because during this time, most of them were full service gas stations. They'd check your oil. You're short a quart, and you go ahead and give me one, and you'd see them get that thing out, jam that on there, and go to pouring.
Yep.
I just wonder how many young people today would even know what that is, or even how to use it.
Very few, because those haven't been in use in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
It might have been around about 20 years ago. A few of them left. Because I think there was one oil manufacturer, you know what I mean, that sell it. It seems like to me they kept hold of that for a little bit longer. I don't remember if it was Quaker State or one of the others, but somebody held on to that for a little while. Obviously, because they didn't want to have to change their machines up and stuff. You're already making the containers,
right?
But yeah, I was going to look here, and Ringo, Michael says, was the one I saw, a dime a minute when others were 25 cents. There goes my dog again. Michael says used many of them. So absolutely. All right. They would know what this is, although it's totally different than what we were used to. And I actually prefer this, although I realize the LED is better. But when you got a bad light, you went down and you changed that whole light. There was no something that plugged in the back of that. You pulled that whole thing out. And some of them like this, you had little covers and stuff. You had to get backed off there so you could pull that out.
Yep.
But it came in a square box, and you went and got you a light bulb. And they had a little plug there, I think, and some of them anyway. And you would wind just like you're doing a light bulb in your home. And I know for people that have antiques and stuff, there's still a market for a lot of that stuff, but very few people today would know anything about that. Like if you handed them one of those and said, "Go get me this," they'd be like, "Where'd I find it? What is it? I mean, it's a light. Is it a floodlight? I mean, what is it?" I realize lights are stronger today and real bright and all that, but I kind of miss those because you know what? The way they did it now, you've got to go through Hades to change some of those light bulbs. It's not hard changing them. It's just hard getting to them.
And lights. We saw just fine with lights like that. We just fine. And, but now they've got these lights so bright. I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You do not need to look up a June bug's butt from a half mile away. You just don't. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And some manufacturers today, they're very hard on lights. And I know I had a particular car. It was a Kia. Every 6 months I was changing one, and they were about $25, $27 a piece. This was probably, I don't know, $3, $5 most, you know,
Yeah.
not that way anymore.
Well,
And I know things go up, but you got the whole thing. You didn't get this little bitty thing you put in there.
well,
And
Kia
you,
or Kias.
I know it was actually a good car, but it was very hard to work on sometimes because the way they did it, and did it on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, Michael, it was two different bulbs. You are absolutely right.
You know, I didn't think about that. You had one was bright, right? And one was
Yeah,
regular.
high beams and low beams.
And you know, something that brings up something else that I miss. Especially if you're driving an automatic, don't you miss? You gave your left foot something to do to flip on and off the lights. You hear that little
Yes.
click. That was
Yeah.
cool.
It was.
And it was just something to keep your foot busy over there while you're driving. You know, you're going down a dark road, you flip it on, you see somebody coming. I can hear that now. You do it so much, or your dad or mom or somebody was driving. Maybe a little tougher with, well, not tough, but you do a little bit more if you're driving a stick. But my goodness, nowadays, all the sticks are going away. People don't want to drive them, you
and
know. I love
they
them.
went the same way of the floorboard light switch, you know, and that was the most convenient place for it. You knew right where it was. You
Yeah.
don't ride with your both feet with a foot on the gas pedal and a foot on the brake. Your left foot ain't got nothing to do anyway. So you might as well turn the lights up and down with it. It's great. It was a good idea, and it has just gone the way of the dinosaur.
All right, my favorite one is this next one, and man, brings back a lot of memories. The old Jack.
My father-in-law still has a stand-up jack like that, and we actually used it on the camper and stuff like that. Those things are handy. You got something that's wedged up in the ground, you wrap a chain around it, wrap a chain around that thing, jack it up. You can pull it out. Oh yeah.
That you can. They could be dangerous when
Yeah.
you were coming down with it. You got to be careful it didn't get to rocking because that thing could take off on you.
Yeah.
Or if it was maybe it was a little messed up. The problem is today is what car could you really use that on? Because every car was made with a spot on each side of the car, front and back, for that little spot, that front of that jack to go up into, and you had metal.
Mhm.
And that's what you jacked with. So, and your bumpers were really made back then. Nowadays, all this plastic, fiberglass, whatever it is they're using, you couldn't do it.
Mm-mm.
Well, you might be able to figure it out as an old country boy. I get it, but it wouldn't be the right one. It might be like you're talking about. But everybody had that in their car.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that episode of Andy Griffith when Barney's debating Andy and trying to replace him as sheriff, and he's giving the sheriff a hard time in the debate and saying, you know what, your sheriff carries around the back of the patrol car, and he's listing, I don't know, all kinds of stuff that are not police related. And Goober, always Goober, he leans in and he said, ain't you got a jack? Well, and what is still there today is the four-way. You would still
Yes.
have that. Although on a lot of the cars, you got to have the special attachment for the one.
Yes.
Because it will not
And
take that one off.
That is just silly. Why?
Make you buy something or come to them. Communism, man, communism. I'll say it. So, yeah. Let's see. Michael says, I drove 6.2 VW in the 80s. It was still 6 volt, so headlights were not even bright. Yeah, floorboard starter switch. Absolutely. I own 2 bumper jacks that has a long screw I used in tractor tire work. Modified. I'm modified. Oh, yeah, the old modified stuff. Well, let me give you another one. This is not one that I just pulled this because I liked it. And I was reading comments on this one, and a lot of people had differing opinions about it. So, and it actually asks you the question, do you know what that's for?
I know what I firmly believe it's for, but I think it was to hold a pocket watch originally, and over time it has changed to put your change in.
That's what I would say. Some said, what was it they said? Cigarette lighter? A small Zippo or something like that. Some people said they did that with it. There was a couple other ideas. And one of them got creative and said, the future cell phones will be so small it'll fit in that pocket.
But they didn't know that when they made them jeans. That pocket's been on jeans for a long time. And I really believe it was put your pocket watch in originally.
Yeah. I think you're right. Or I think you're probably right. I didn't think about that, and I didn't see anybody say it because I didn't read all of the comments. But I think you're probably right. So anyway,
because it's just on one side.
It's
just on one side. You don't have one on both sides. You just got one on your right side, and that's where people would shove their pocket watches. Yeah, I'll put that screen back. It was kind of all blending in there, so
no, that's fine.
I mixed it up. There it is.
No, what I was going to say was maybe a small knife. The old timer knife. It might fit in that.
They might.
And every good Southern guy carries a pocket knife, right? I mean,
well,
everybody's got one. This one's too big, but I've got one here in my desk.
Michael agreed with me.
About what?
A pocket watch.
Your pocket watch. Well, he's probably right.
I worked with knives the whole time I was able to, cutting meat and stuff. And I just really don't have a big burning desire to carry a pocket knife around with me anymore. I do have a multi-tool close around at all times, and it's got a knife in there if I need one. But yeah, this is much better than just a pocket knife. I mean, it's got pliers.
I honestly thought you was going to reach back and pull out the Crocodile Dundee knife.
Thought I was going to pull out what?
The Crocodile Dundee knife.
No. You can't put that in your pocket. I don't want
Well,
that.
not in your pocket, but you'd say, well, I wear mine on the outside. That's what I thought you were going to do. That's not a knife.
This is a knife. Hey, let me answer this real quick, and I'll be right back with you.
Go right ahead. Got to take them calls. Little fun thing there, kind of walking back into time a little bit. We reminisce. I mean, what do you say? Yes, some of Western movies, they did pull that. But a lot of them had the vest thing, and they did that in there too. So that's when I think of the watch, I think of it being in that. Or it was in their, not the small pocket, but the big pocket. Some people just had the chain hanging there. In fact, I have a couple. And that's what I do. I just put it down, hook it to the belt, and put it down in my pocket, but not the little pocket, because it'd be aggravating. You could ruin it, if you weren't careful. Because those were pretty sturdy. I mean, I've got one that I've never done it. My grandfather came to me, and I don't remember how. It's old, very old, but it needs a cover. And it just needs to be looked at on the inside a little bit. But I would love to get that fixed before I die and pass it on to my sons or son. I guess they'd fight over it. I guess that's oldest. You go to oldest and say, well, he's the oldest. I'll find something else to give you. My wife would probably.
We've got a sickie in the hospital. Well, actually, we got one that just gave birth in the hospital still. And the daddy of the baby has COVID. And there's a bunch of stuff going on there, and I needed to take that one. So
yeah, no problem, man. No problem.
But mama and baby's just fine right now. It's just the daddy with the COVID. He'll be fine.
It's a tough time. I know some people in the hospital right now and going through some tough time. If somehow y'all come across this program, we're praying for you. We're going to do a prayer time this week live. We're going to do it sometime this week. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. It might be Sunday or who knows, but we're going to do a live prayer time, and send us your prayer request or come in the chat and pop them in. Yeah. And we'll read them off. We'll talk about it a little bit. Then we'll have a collective prayer over several, and then several more if we get them. And we'll mention them, however you want to mention. If you just want to, no name, first name, just the situation, whatever it is. Hey, we want to pray. And I know so many. Robert, I've probably got 10 right now.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. 10 right now that these are serious. I know for sure 6, but I've got 3 or 4 more that are out there that still need to pray for. So I'd say I got 10. There's no shortage of people to pray for.
Well, one of the ones on your list is on my list too, so I know for sure.
Absolutely. And she posted yesterday. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
Um,
And I talked to her a little bit today on the messenger.
okay.
So
I sent her a message, and wasn't the news she wanted to hear, but she's a fighter. She's a warrior. Keep on fighting, girl.
yes.
You know,
And guys,
everybody.
that email address there for southernfriedpodcast at yahoo.com, y'all more than welcome to send your prayer requests to that one too.
Prayer request, feedback, veterans you want us to honor,
yeah.
please.
Oh,
We
we've
haven't
got
had
a
anything.
Cornbread Nation group set up
Yeah.
on Facebook now
Talk
too.
about that.
Yeah, y'all pile on in there. I got a request up there now. Y'all tell us where you from, what state. You know, we're kind of curious as where all of our listeners are from. Pop in your state. It's Cornbread Nation group, and it's just jump right in there.
By the way, Robert, you said Georgia, and I said Georgia too, but I said I'm above the gnat line. Michael, I don't think there's any capitals in that. I think you just type
It's
it
all
in.
small. Just go with it.
We didn't make it difficult.
Oh,
Good evening, Earl.
Jumping in here. Oh, every time Brother Hester piles up in here, and we love having Brother Hester on here. I got to find his picture.
It's still in there.
Picture. Is he still in? Is it still up there?
Well, I don't know. Maybe not. You found it the other day. I don't know.
Did I?
Maybe it's still there.
Yeah, but he and I go. We go
there
way
it is.
back. Yeah, that's he's not that big, y'all. I give him a hard time. I'm morally obligated to give him a hard time. But you see, that's what he does. He goes fishing, and here's what I do. I go catching. Now that was some years ago. As you can tell, there's no gray in my goatee. But yeah, I go catching. He goes fishing. I got to give him a hard time. I got to. I'm morally obligated to do so. And yeah, whoop, that's the wrong one.
Michael, you can give us both.
Messing stuff, huh?
The state you live in and your state of mind too. We're okay. Give us it all.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're crazy on here. Sometimes we're serious and silly and everything in between.
What'd he say to that?
He
You
said
hadn't even said nothing yet. You just said good evening. You had him. Oh.
Well, that's Earl. Yeah. Good evening, guys.
And I jumped right on you too, didn't I? I ain't got no niceness left today. I didn't have about one feeling left when I got up this morning. I got up late, and then I was late getting in here tonight. So, you know, I'm just late, and it's
I understand. I understand, Michael. I understand. You know, we probably need to put Earl on the prayer list just because I'm having to deal with you.
Probably. Well, he's on my prayer.
You know, there's a history between these two guys. There's a history between these two guys, and I don't know who's been more mean to the other. It's probably a whole lot on both sides, but I don't know who's ahead.
I'm ahead.
Robert says I'm ahead. Well, yeah.
I've been ahead since I hooked him.
He talked about that one time.
I'm sorry. He's laughing.
Well, what can he say? He's agreeing with you. Yeah, thumbs up. Salute.
Yeah. You know, y'all, if you've never had the sheer moment of terror of hooking somebody while you're fishing with them, you're missing out. Oh, you're going to feel bad about it. And you're even going to help them get the hook out of their leg. But you're going to feel bad. What you'd say even? No. I think I've been a lot meaner to you over the years. I don't know. You've done some mean things. I don't know. It might be even, but I think I'm in the league just because I hooked you. You know, y'all, you're going to feel bad. But the worst thing is you're never, ever, ever going to live it down. Never. That was years and years and years ago that I hooked him. he still remembers it like it was yesterday, just living in the past, hanging on to it. You got to let that go. I didn't hook you on purpose. If that hook had sat in that fish's mouth instead of your leg, I caught that fish. As it
Are you
was,
saying? Are you saying
I,
his leg cost you a catch? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, but I want to set the hook. The bass hit right at the boat. I just set the hook, but he didn't have the lure. But Earl's leg had the lure. So I don't know. I don't know. But that has me the record between me and him fishing with each other. I do have the biggest catch.
And how big was that catch? Don't exaggerate.
How tall are you, Earl? He's not going to say how tall he is. That was a little one anyway. It was a little one anyway, the bass was, or my catch? It may have been a little bass. I don't know, but he hit. So I set the hook. 58.
Is that his age or his height?
Yeah, he's about 5'8".
Yeah, 5'8". I knew what he meant.
Sounds about right. Okay, I got him. Yeah.
Never
So
heard of a
yeah,
fish called Earl.
my biggest one was 5'8". You're taller than 5'8", aren't you? Got to get you a booster seat for your truck if you're only 5'8".
Well, Robert, how tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
Well, that ain't that much different.
Yeah, 2 inches.
Anybody
You
under
don't think 2 inches makes a world of difference?
anybody under 6 foot tall don't really need to get in this discussion.
What? Well,
I'm
let me.
I'm 6'1", brother, and that's even after shrinking a little bit for being elderly. I used to be
Yeah,
6'1" and a half, dropped a
T-Rex.
half inch, but I'm 6'1", brother.
All right. Well, let me put to you
I've
this.
always been called tall. Nobody ever had to question my
Let me
my intelligence,
educate.
yes, but not my height.
Let me educate you on this. My daddy was 6'4". He was very tall. My mama was 4'10", something like that, maybe 11. She was short, and I wound up 5'10". I wound up right in the
Sorry,
middle of them
Michael.
there somewhere. So, see that now you've done it. You done hurting the short people's feelings. Uh, Michael
I'm
Pfeiffer.
I'm in the room with little people.
Next thing you know, you're gonna try to call us Oompa Loompas. Uh,
If you sing that song, I'm falling out of the chair.
Oompa, Oompa, Oompa dee doo.
Oh, I really would fall, but it would hurt. Oh, it would be worth it just to fall out, though, to laugh at it.
Oh man, but look, the difference between 4'8" and 5'10" is
4'8".
14. Yeah, my mom.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Earl.
No, Earl's not that tall. But mine was like 4'8", 4'9". We'll say 4'9". Okay, so that's over a foot difference in height. All right, there's only 6 inches difference in height between me and my dad, from 5'10" to 6'4". So I wound up on the tall side of my options there. Hmm.
I like how you phrase that. That's interesting how you phrase
What?
that.
The tall side?
The tall side. The tall side. Hey, no matter how tall you are, that's how God made you. I'm good with
And
it.
yeah, and see,
Just picking at you.
Earl called me a T-Rex, and he's right. Because while I am 5'10", and he is 5'8", and I think that's a little bit of exaggeration there. I think he's okay. We'll say 5'8", and I'm 5'10". I'm 2 inches taller than him, but he has reach advantage over me because I got little bitty short dinky arms. I say dinky; they're short, but they're stout. But I can hold my hands out, and everybody has reach advantage on me. It don't matter if they're. I mean, there's women folk out there their arms are longer than mine. They just don't know. They're short. It's like my legs. I'm all body. I got no leg length. I ain't got no arm length. It's just all body and big old fat head. You don't have to agree with everything. You're sitting over nodding your head.
I'm just listening. I was just okay. I'm just giving acknowledgement. I was going to make no comments. I feel like I've already, offended the room. Hey, there's Daniel Sutherland.
Hey, Sugar Britches, what you up to? What?
Sugar Britches. Where do you get these names at, man? It reminds me of that movie Get Shorty, and everybody's got these crazy mafia names. And what's his name? I can't think of the actor's name. I love him to death. Gene Hackman. Where do you get these names at? I mean, just crazy names. Sugar Britches. No guy would want to be called that. Sugar Britches. I just can't. Maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. Maybe it is good. I don't know.
You're thinking about it wrong. He's my little buddy. He's the Sugar Britches. Look, next time you go to church, start referring to your deacons as Sugar Britches. You should do that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Hey, Brother Sugar Britches, how are you doing today? And just see the reaction.
I would get thrown off the mountain.
Look, you have said pop, referred to Coke as pop in the pulpit. See, Daniel said it's okay.
I think it's a South Georgia thing, brother. I really do. It's North Georgia, South Georgia. Because I'm going to throw something at you. I haven't heard till today. You know that I don't like grits. I hate them. I don't mind saying. I don't like grits, and so for all the grit people out there, or cream of wheat or whatever, have you ever heard? I'm sure you're going to say, "Oh yeah, they're great." I have not till this day. I saw it in an ad for a breakfast at a restaurant. What the heck is a grit cake? And that came from my area.
No idea. Now, you see that? That's his name.
That my name. Okay.
I mess you up. Miss or mess? You going to mess me up? Oh, my goodness. I'm going to be worried now.
Hey, we're glad you're in here, Daniel. Thank you for
Absolutely. Support. Absolutely. Daniel, let me tell you about Daniel.
Absolutely, Daniel. You got an invitation to the show.
People. Huh?
He said he'd like to be on the show.
Yeah.
He does. Probably the only Southern guy that doesn't drink sweet tea. That's okay. Come on up. We've all got something, even Robert.
We'll have Daniel on the show with us one day.
We definitely would
love for you. One of the hardest working people I have ever met in my life. That man can work. And I'm going to tell you, he has the best attitude while he's doing it.
Awesome.
He never gets mad. Miss you too, Bubba. And we worked together for a couple of years, and I mean, it was a joy working with him. And
that's awesome.
He is a good one. And I miss working with you too, Bubba. You're always going to be my Sugar Britches.
I'm glad y'all got this thing worked out. I just can't get used to that. I'm not using the name. Okay. I don't, it would sound even really bad coming from me. So.
Well, yeah, he's not your Sugar Britches. You can't call him that.
I could hear, I could just hear it at church. Somebody run into the stream and said, "Preacher, what was you doing calling somebody Sugar Britches?" And how in the world would I explain it?
Oh, Jenny's done agreed with you now.
What's the acronym? I'm old.
Shaking my head.
Okay. I don't know the acronyms. I'm an old guy.
Well, Michael, I'm not calling you Sugar Britches either.
We're not calling you that, Michael.
No, just Daniel.
Oh man,
he's been my butt for a while now. Yes. So,
hey, folks, y'all make this a lot of fun coming in here. I tell you, like I said, some of the best things we do is when y'all come in and throw some stuff at us. It's just great. It's absolutely great.
You've never heard me call anybody Sugar Britches until Daniel.
Robert, I gotta be honest here. I really thought I'd live the rest of my life without ever hearing you say that about any human being. I mean, I gotta be honest. That's why it throws me so much. Because I have heard you say a lot of things.
Yeah.
I've never, something like that. Well, unless you were really picking at somebody, you would never do that. But if you did,
well, sugar britches is a term of endearment. It's all it is.
Robert, have you ever met somebody out in public that you maybe you picked out a little bit and they didn't like it, and years later you run into them? Mm-hmm. What was their reaction to you those years later? Guys, you got to think about
it. I wouldn't say that it was necessarily a positive reaction, depending upon who and what it was, and some of them you don't know, Rob. Oh, my wife's getting on me now. Oh my goodness. Look. Yeah, y'all just don't understand my sense of humor. You just, and Dave, you know my sense of humor. I like to see a reaction. If I can see a reaction, they turn and run. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the word I would use for you in some cases, I would say your humor is twisted.
There you go, Dave.
I mean that in a positive way. Dave, you can come out if you want. It don't bother me. Thank you, Daniel. I like Daniel.
All right,
I like Daniel.
All right, now play it with me. Sugar.
Can't do it, man.
You can say sugar.
I could use the initials, but I have to be real careful. It would sound like I was calling him something else. And I sure am not going there.
Daniel,
because I flub words sometimes, and I'd be mortified.
Oh,
thank you, Daniel, for your kindness, though. Yeah, that's good. Just call me Shorty.
Twister is a good one. Turn and run, Twister. No, I have run into people that I have picked on pretty hard. I am not the same person that I used to be. I'm a lot nicer now.
Amen. That's for all of us.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say it.
Go ahead. He's daring you now. Oh, look here. Look here. Oh, no.
Twisted, Daniel, yeah.
Daniel, right. Yeah. Go ahead. Say it.
I'll break it up. I'm going to say sugar now, and then I'll wait a few minutes, and we'll come back to the rest. That's the only way you're getting it out of me. That even sounds weird to say sugar.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
This is great.
This would be a great prank call. Not that we would do that, but can you imagine calling some business and saying, "Hey, I need to speak to
Sugar Britches. My Sugar Britches up there? Who's your Sugar Britches?" He's not letting it go, Bubba. You're going to have to say it. Look here.
I said I was going to break it up, so I'll say britches now. So I said it. I just didn't say it together.
Oh, Sugar Britches. You believe that?
Oh, my goodness.
Have you? Okay. I got to tell part of this story anyway. We used to crank call each other at work a lot sometimes.
True.
And because everybody had phones at their workstations, and I made a crank call to somebody, and he made a crank call back, and he asked who it was on the phone, and I didn't tell him my name. I made up a name on the spot, and I hung up. And so I called the guy back that I thought had called me and said something bad to him and hung up on him again. And I felt rather proud of myself. Until my supervisor and a supervisor from another part of the facility that we were working at came walking around the corner, and it was the supervisor from the other department that had called me or called that phone, and I answered it as somebody else, and who, and I hung up on him, and yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Didn't
there's
fess
a
up.
couple. There's a
Didn't fess
couple of
up.
times I come into work when Robert was there, and he was. I think you were always night shift, wasn't you, or mostly night
Mostly.
shift?
Yeah.
With good reason. I mean, hard worker, nothing about that. I don't think day shift could handle Robert's humor, and
Mm-hmm.
night shift was perfect for Robert.
Yes.
But I would come in and say, I'd hear this news. Hey, Dave, you'll never guess what Robert did. I'm like, oh my goodness, what did he do now? I mean, I hear stories about things on top of lift trucks falling on people's heads and stuff. And I'm like,
Do that one.
are you kidding me?
Once the one time I didn't do it, everybody just knew I did it, and I didn't do it.
That's what they told me. And you know what? I believed them.
I'm not saying I wouldn't have, but I didn't. But anyway, I didn't fess up to the phone call thing. About 6 months after that, me and a buddy of mine went into Cracker Barrel. There, the manager was sitting there, and I no longer worked at the facility there. And the guy was just as bald as I am now. And I told my buddy, I said, "You want to see something funny?" He said, "Yeah, watch this." And I walked up to him. And I walked up to him and I said, "We used to work together." He said, "I think we did." He said, "But I can't remember your name." And I gave him the phony name that I gave him on the night that he called. His whole demeanor changed, Dave. His face got a little red. His eyes kind of squinched up a little bit. And right here, David, on the side of his head, there was a vein. And it started going doop, 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 doop.
He had like the Klingon thing going on.
Yes. Yes. And my buddy was with me as we walked away because he wasn't shaking my hand. As we were walking away, he was like, you made a good impression on that guy.
No doubt.
Oh, no names, even my fake name.
We have to be careful with this story, but I got to admit, shame on David. I really didn't intend it to be a setup. I got to admit, there's part of me that thought this is not a good idea, but there's a part of me that said, well, you never know. So we're down at the old fish store and we got to talking about people we used to work with and everything. And he was brought a particular person. We're not going to.
No, we probably can't. Well, no.
We can't.
Don't tell that story.
Well, it's just no names.
Okay.
And not names, not areas, not. I said, Rob, you ought to call them. I said, I'm sure by now, with the passage of time, it would be funny to them. They'd probably laugh about it. And Robert's like, no, that's not a good idea, Dave. And I'm being persuasive, and I'm trying to convince him it's the good Christian thing to do to call this person and make amends, even if they're a little upset. I bet they would forgive you and all that. And he's like, you think? And I'm like, sure, absolutely, man. Just bank on it. You need to do this. Well, probably the first and last time Robert really listened to me on something like that, and he did it. We're not going to get into the subject of that call, but I want to tell you it went very, very bad. And I remember you said something like, thanks, Dave.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm surprised you could even hear me because you were laughing so hard. And tears running down your face. I remember that.
It's true.
The only time I've seen more tears run down your face. Were you there the day that the iguana crawled up my leg in the bathroom?
I've not even heard this story, dude.
I could have swore it was you.
If you told me, I forgot,
They got some iguanas in the fish store. We're going to sell these iguanas.
I thought you were talking about at work. Oh, this happened at the fish store?
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking work.
But
how'd you get an iguana into work?
One of the iguanas got loose. And these are small iguanas, and it ran into the bathroom, and under the cabinet there at the sink basin, it was open underneath, and he ran underneath it. Well, they just shut the bathroom door. He was trapped. They'd get him out tomorrow, was the plan. Well, they didn't show up the next day till later, and I was opening the store, and I went in getting everything ready to open, and I had to go to the restroom. And it was a good thing that I was sitting where I was sitting when that iguana that I knew nothing about crawled up my leg. And
How far, Rob? How far did it crawl up your leg?
He made it up to my knee before I could get my hand on him. Because whatever that was, it wasn't going no higher. It wasn't.
Oh,
and everybody thought it was probably a woman in there, because I'm quite sure I was being loud and vocal and like a little girl. But no, it wasn't going no higher than that. Oh no, they thought it was funny. I said, "How did the iguana get out of the tank?" "Oh, it didn't get out of the tank. It ran into the bathroom last night and it ran up on the thing and we just closed the door." "Why didn't you get it out last night?" "Well, it was late. We were going to get it out this morning." "Why didn't you tell me?" If we had thought,
how did you back the iguana back down the leg? Did you have to kill him? Did he survive?
No, I had him in my hand and I had to look down to see what it was, because I felt something scratching in my hand and I could feel scales on it, the little, and I was like, look, I had to glance. When I realized what it was, I was no longer terrified. But up until that point, I was terrified.
Oh my gosh. Just in the tonight streams, folks, we've had sugar britches and iguanas. How in the world did we get this stuff all to come together? I don't have a clue. Nope. It's hilarious.
I don't know. But if I had an iguana now, I'd name it Sugar Bridges.
It'd be an honor for Daniel, I bet.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to hear you say it.
Well, I said it just now.
Oh, that's right. You did say it. Daniel.
I said it.
He said Sugar Bridges.
I did. I messed up. And I was looking at Robert when I said it.
Ooh. I don't know. Not my name.
Oh my gosh. Y'all are great. Thank you for the laughs on a hump day. And we appreciate you all being in here and just making our day. I did. I did. Y'all got a touchdown there, or an interception, or whatever you want to call it. It happened. I did.
David said Sugar Britches.
That's like saying pop. Where'd that come from? So you're a bad influence on me, man.
How do you figure I'm a bad influence? You can't call me a bad influence. I still think you need to go into church and refer to your deacons as Sugar Britches.
That's not happening. But I know what's going to happen. I'm going to mess up. That's going to be stuck in the back of my mind somewhere. And I'm going to be talking along, and I'm going to be trying to refer to somebody's name, and that's going to come out, and everybody's going to stop and look at me like, what did he just say?
Oh, wait.
It might not wait to the end of the sermon. They might just have an immediate business meeting. We got to talk to you. What are you talking about?
No. You know what's going to happen now. One of your deacons is going to see this show, and you're going to be up there preaching, and he's going to say, "Amen, Sugar Britches."
There's not much that would mess me up from preaching. I take that very serious, as you should. There's funny things that have happened, but I've overcame it. That might derail the service for a few minutes. It just might.
I've been to your church services before, and if I had known that this would be the kind of reaction to get, I'd be there. So, hey man, Sugar Bridges.
Let me tell you this quick one. I know we're going to get off here in a few minutes, but and I may have told you this, but I don't think. I know I'm done. I've got to go to bed, but it's like after a certain hour, things just change. But see, I'm not going to be able to talk. So this guy was telling me he's a missionary in South Africa, and they were doing the Passover service, and they had the traditional things there. They had the foods were real, not props. They were real. And he's going through this and teaching about all the things that happen at a traditional Jewish Passover. Well, this guy's he's never been here before, I don't think. I think it's a church he's never been to. And so there's one of the things that they always talk about. They're looking for, Elijah to come. looking for Elijah. That's one thing. They open the door. It's part of the ceremony. They're looking for Elijah. Well, he's not came yet, you know. So anyway, along about the time he's talking about this plate and he's talking about that and looking for Elijah, the door opens on the church. this drunk and hobo, homeless guy, whatever you want to call him, he comes, I mean, just about to fall down as he comes all the way up the middle of the pews. And of course, everybody in there's hearing this and they look back at, he just stops like he don't know what to do. He's thinking, did they set this up? Or they, what's going on? So the guy comes all the way up like he's supposed to do it. And he comes up and he sits down. They have a chair there for Elijah. I've done this myself, and you do the prop, you put a chair there and you go through the ceremony. You talk about the different elements of it. Guy comes up, sits in a chair. Yeah. He starts eating the food. He grabs up the chicken or roast or whatever it was, turkey leg or whatever. And I forget now. He starts eating it, and the guy, all the people are now look at the missionary. I mean, look at this guy, they look at the missionary. So what could he say? He said, well, I guess Elijah came this year. He said the timing couldn't have been even any better. He said, so he finished up. They just let the old guy sit there and eat the meal. He said, I didn't have to clean up after it. This guy just, he ate it all. And if I remember right, he just got up and walked out.
That would be amazing, dude. There's so many things that go on in this world that you wish you could just be a fly on the wall just to see people's faces.
Oh, yeah.
So,
without a doubt.
Okay. Well, guys, we thank all of y'all for tuning in today for Hump Day News Live.
I think this is the longest show we've ever done. It's been great. It's just flown by. Thank y'all so much.
Well, you know, we've learned a lot tonight.
We have.
Like you said, from iguanas to sugar britches. And we got time to say it. We've given his deacons some good idea, I hope. And
the last thing I'll say is a lot of times, you know, my family they go into bed because it gets late and they got school or just, you know, go to bed early. We go to bed early, you know. My wife does anyway. But my son works third shift and he'll come in and every morning he'll say, did you have a good recording, Dad? How in the world do I answer that question in the morning?
You just better hope he don't ask you, did you have a good recording there, Sugar Britches? That's what you better be hoping for. If
he does hear that, I'm done, man, because he will throw that everywhere. He's a little bit like you, Rob. I ain't gonna say he's full blown Robert Blevins, but he's a little bit like you.
Love you, bro.
I love you too.
Dave Michael, love you guys.
Yes.
And Jennifer, we loves you too.
You better say that.
Huh?
You better say that. And all the people that tuned in that we didn't get to talk to, thank you so much.
Yeah, we love y'all. And hey, if y'all, there's quite a few people on here. Y'all need to jump in here and so you can chat with us too. Fire it on up. We love it. All right. Well, like and follow us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube and help us build that up. We'd appreciate it a lot. And we love you guys. And
yeah, our next live will be Friday morning for the morning show, 6 a.m. Lord willing, if you don't take us home. And Friday night, Rob, Front Porch Talking.
Oh, okay. I like Front Porch Talking. Y'all come on in. We'll talk about everything, about like we did tonight on Hump Day News, but it'd be all right. All right. Love y'all. God bless you. And we'll see you on the next one. Salute.